Are we live? We're live! Da-na-na-na-na-na-na! Pathfinder!
Hello,
everybody.
Hello.
Welcome to my first ever Pathfinder stream. I know this is something new. This is something that I haven't done on my channel before, but I figured I would branch out, and we're always talking about Pathfinder on my shows. So I figured, why not start doing a series like this where we introduce people to the game and to tabletop role-playing in general, and we're going to start really basic. Today we have myself, who's an avid Pathfinder player, Nick, who is our GM, AC, who's a fellow player, not feather player. Oh, I can't speak. And Chris, who is a brand new player to Pathfinder. And we also have Vinnie, who's coming in later. He's running a little late, but he will be here. And we're going to basically show Chris and Vinnie how to build new characters. And we will all be building level 1 characters today. And next time, we will actually be playing a module. But today it's just going to be like introducing the game. And I'm going to post, the cool thing about Pathfinder is all the resources are online. So I'm going to post a link to the resource website in the chat. And meanwhile, why don't all of you tell everyone who you are and how you got to be here? Nick?
All right. Nick Zamudio. Got to be here after, as you guys know, Irene's comic fiendish. We came here to show support, but eventually got roped in, and it's been fun to just be joining streaming, and even more fun if I actually get to talk about Pathfinder and tabletop play and stuff. But mostly a comic book artist. Credits on stuff like The Remains and Welcome Back and Shadow Roads. I guess that's me.
I go by AC Zamudio. I am a comic artist, and I'm trying to teach myself how to write. But yeah, I've drawn Shadow Roads, Death Follows. I did a mini-series for the Sixth Gun. I am married. For anybody who's not familiar with us, I don't know why they wouldn't be, but I'm married to this guy. So,
yeah, they're sitting right next to each other. So I don't know if that's confusing to anyone. They get really annoyed if you tell them they're a cute couple. So please tell them they're a cute couple.
Oh, God damn it. We lived in Atlanta for a while, and one of our friends introduced us to Pathfinder, and we just got hooked on it immediately. I was in theater class in high school.
It took a little bit of convincing to get AC to join in, but
I thought it was all just going to be a bunch of like numbers and like wargaming and stuff. But then it's like, oh, we're telling a story. We got characters. I'm like, okay, all right, I'll try this out. So anyway, I guess that's my story.
Oh, yep, and Vinny's here.
Hey everyone, how we doing?
Good. Hey. I like your icon.
Yeah, that's my character.
Hell yeah. Well, no spoilers yet. We're just introducing ourselves. So, Chris, who are you? How did you get here?
I'm Chris Evans. I go by Shugah Chris here on the YouTubes, and I got here because Pale Rider volunteered before.
This is true.
But I've always wanted to do tabletop RPG.
Thank you, never
known anybody to do it, so I'm quite excited.
Hell yeah! Glad you're here with us. Vinnie!
Yes.
Who are you? How'd you wander into this show?
Yeah, I'm a comic book artist, creator, former lead designer for McFarlane Toys. I got roped into this as well. You said I'm going to be the guinea pig for this experiment.
Actually, no, I asked you, and you're like, sure. This was consensual. Right. Okay, let's not be like, oh my God, I was just like roped into this. I had no choice.
No.
Vinny's trying to actually avoid getting the nerd card on.
No, I'm legit a nerd. I've done toy reviews on my website. I'm a nerd. Don't worry about it.
Cool. All right. Now that we've established our nerd creds, awesome. Hello, chat. Hi, everyone. I see a lot of regulars. I'm so glad people are interested in this because I was like, no one's going to be interested if I'm not talking about comics, but I'm really glad there are people that want to see us do this. So I'm a little nervous because it's like the first time doing this stream, but we are really into this game, and like we have all the resources ready. We've done a few meetings to prep, so I think it's going to go really great. And we actually all have character concepts, and I think we also have drawings. So we've prepared ahead of time,
Right.
and this is
Yes.
so we've got some cool stuff to show you. So how should we start? Should should we like show the characters, or Nick, do you want to do?
Let me get at least a little bit of a preamble, both for
Okay.
The newbies coming in and for people also kind of experiencing this. What we're doing today is usually referred to as a session 0, which is just kind of like a little prep session, kind of getting everybody up to speed on how the game works and not necessarily actually getting to play. Unfortunately, it's like this is one of like this is kind of like the sluggish part of the game, but everybody needs to at least have this kind of base understanding of being walked through, plugging things into this thing to figure out their own stuff. Everybody in here, Irene, AC, Chris, and Vinnie, which are going to be the ones that are going to be, playing in the game. Like Irene said, we got together and we did some of the basic stuff, which was kind of help everybody get an idea of what they wanted to do. So we have a rough draft of sorts. And we got stats for the characters. For those of you guys are familiar with tabletop playing, you know that there's different systems to go around with this. We like to roll the stats, which makes it a little bit more random, versus people to not always lean in and making the same character with the same optimized stats. But there's different options. So we have kind of like that basic stuff going, so we can kind of lead them, and we had a bit of an idea of what to open up on tabs to help through today. So guys, let's. I think we could maybe start out while we start sharing some of the links that everybody can kind of keep open on the tab if they want to either, for whoever's building it and whoever wants to kind of go along and kind of see how the website looks and all that. So I'll start sharing those. In the meantime, each one of you guys read the current little backstory that you guys wrote for your character so far, which is again. It's a rough draft. Nobody has to feel too attached to that. Nothing is final. A lot of this will be kind of troubleshooting or brainstorming together for it, but so that everybody can kind of get a gist of what everybody else kind of is looking to play. So Irene, why don't you start off?
Me?
Are we going to show the character art and read our story? How are we going to do this?
Yeah, I'm going to put my character art on. I was going to say I should go last because I wrote way more than a paragraph.
We need to get going, so the faster we get through yours, the easier.
Cool. All right, let's go.
Prepare for everyone else to be disappointing after Irene.
No, don't say that. It won't be disappointing. All right, here. I will share my character art as well. I also went very extra with that. Did you know that I'm kind of extra? Did you know that? Have I mentioned that? I don't know if I've mentioned that before. What is... Let me open this. Pathfinder. I need to find the JPEG of this.
Yeah. I should say, Mo, there's not going to be any red dresses.
Red dresses? What?
Is that a reference to something?
Yes. Unfortunately, it is a reference.
I don't know if Chris wants to talk about this now. Oh, no, you're the biggest fan of red dresses, aren't you?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Bill Ryder is.
Bill Ryder, maybe.
Oh, yeah!
That's great.
So this is my character. His name is Gillard Barden. And Gillard Barden grew up in the remote Varisian town of Ravenmore. From childhood, Gil was hearty and attentive, but socially awkward, speaking with a squeaky voice and stammering over his words. When he was 14, his father died to an illness tied to the blight that constantly ravaged Ravenmore, his hometown. And ever since, his mother has been terrified of leaving town or leaving her house and resorted to running a herbalist practice from home. So Gil grew up helping his mother with this practice. And one day, after searching all over town for a fertilizer that his mother needed, Gil managed to find the item for sale from the town eccentric, Rukid Kester. I went way into detail about this. Gil never paid much attention to Rukid before, but out of politeness, he struck up a conversation and told Rukid about his desire to rid Ravenmore of the terrible blight. It was then that Rickard led the boy into a back room of his house, showed him the chemicals and distillery contraptions that he kept there, and told him that this was alchemy. Rickard promised to teach Gil alchemy if Gil would keep Rickard's backroom lab a secret. Thus, Gil embarked on his studies with great fervor. However, he soon realized that he did not quite have a mind for chemistry because he was kind of stupid. So he almost gave up on his scholarly pursuits until Rickard encouraged Gil to take advantage of his green thumb and told him to learn to do what Rickard did, only with plant material. Thus, Gil was referred to the town mayor and cleric, Adretti Kriegler, who promptly took the boy under his wing and gave Gil free rein of his vast private library to learn about herbology. Gil was studying and debating on a final career path when Mayor Kriegler heroically sacrificed himself in a clerical ritual to stave off the blight that was once again encroaching on Ravenmoor. By the way, this kind of ties into some side module we played, so I hope people like this makes sense to people who haven't played this module. But
We'll get a little like Sparks notes at the end so that we can all kind of get to it.
Sparks notes? Okay. I'll write one when I'm done with this fucking novel. At the tender age of 23, Giller sets out across the wilderness of Varesia. He realized that Ravenmoor was in more need of help than ever, so he decided to leave town in pursuit of further knowledge. Him and Rickon made a pact. While Rickon stayed to watch over Ravenmoor, Gil would leave to find a cure for the blight. And the two had deducted that the most likely cure for this blight that was surrounding their town would be a sort of magical plant. So Gil decides he's going to seek out whatever herbalists and whatever druids he can find in order to figure out a way to grow and cultivate this magical plant to save his hometown. He grows the plants. As he travels, he soon begins to wear an enormous beard that reaches his belly. Though in truth, most of the mass upon his chin is a garden of moss, mold, and other strange herbs that he picks up on his travels. He grows the plants on his beard because he is too poor to afford an actual terrarium, but he wants to observe how different plants would react to different environments in the open. So he just adds like hair and moss to his beard. His beard is actually not that big, but it's just a massive plant growth in it, and probably some like pets in there as well. One day, after accidentally ingesting a powerful hallucinogen and rampaging through a town, he is thrown into the town dumpster, where he finds a curious colony of gigantic mushrooms that give off psychedelic spores. He immediately dissects one such mushroom for research purposes. Little did he know, these mushrooms were actually sentient beings called mushroom leshies, and they are incensed by his horrific act of murder. Ever since, he has been followed around by a particularly fat and bossy leshy who calls himself the prince of the colony. Gil isn't sure what the mushroom man wants of him, and indeed, he sometimes wonders if the thing isn't completely conjured up by his imagination. But he does enjoy the psychedelic spores that the creature gives off, so he lets it travel in his beard and yell commands that he completely ignores. All right, I'm done.
All right. There you go. So that is Gillard. Sparks notes on that. We have a character which some of the context is this Ravenmoor place. It's kind of like a hick town in the middle of nowhere in like deep swamps that is very difficult to grow or survive with anything in there. So it seems like Gillard takes that as a bit of a duty to find ways of helping out his town through his interest in herbalism. Goes out and I think the rest is the more interesting parts with the moss growing on his beard and meeting this mushroom buddy that he hangs out.
Yeah, this mushroom buddy. I wonder if we'll get to know him.
Yeah.
You told me keep it simple.
I mean, that's simple for me. That's simple.
That's simple for Irene.
Yeah.
Seriously.
I tend to get carried away. Did you know I get carried away? I probably could have simplified that, but like, you know.
Just a smidge.
I'm into character development. Okay, anyway, so he's on a journey to to learn how to grow magical plants. There you go. The end.
All
cool.
Right.
All right.
AC,
Oh, really? You think I should go next?
I mean,
Okay.
you're the next one after me on the camera, so let's go with you.
Share your art.
So I need to share my screen. Oh, I can share a window. Okay, I'm not used to this. All right, I just have a sketch. Irene went above and beyond. But this is my sketch. Can you guys see it?
No, not yet.
I got it.
Cool.
Just a sec while Irene.
Nice.
Hail, Zaid. A few people joining
All right.
us. Yvonne is here. Woo! I just got done with my
Hey,
character.
Yvonne.
Yeah. Now we're doing Ariel's.
Okay, so I did not spend half as much time with this as Irene, and I thought we were just supposed to come up with sketches, but anyway.
All right.
Okay, so my backstory. Her name is Bilgra Brightbottom, and she is a very beautiful dwarf with a very beautiful, humongous beard. Bilgra was born in the Five Kings Mountains to a family of brewers and worshippers of the god Caden Kaleen, the god of drinking and many other heroics. She eventually decided to go on a pilgrimage to see the Starstone, where her god attained his divinity. She traveled with a small pilgrimage group led by her brother down the mountain. However, their descent was thwarted by an unexpected pack of undead, and as a band of new adventurers, they panicked and scattered. The undead knocked her out, and as her brother tried to ward the other undead from killing and eating her, he was killed himself. Another of her fellow pilgrims, a frogman called a Gripply, was also tragically slain, but the rest of her group survived, and she took on her brother's armor to ensure that she never fall in battle again when her friends might need her. Now, having finally reached Absalom, the place of the Starstone, she was overcome with guilt and felt unworthy to join her fellow pilgrims to visit it. So she has sought out other adventures to prevent more tragedy and to serve her god until the day that she knows she is ready. So that is the backstory. Came out with like half an hour ago.
Okay, all right. So we have Gilra, Spark Notes.
Gilgra. No, it's Bilgra. I just came up with
Bilgra. By the way, yes, that is a female dwarf. Our female dwarves have beards.
Yeah.
There's so many. I think it's actually not even canon in Pathfinder that female dwarves have beards, but they should. And I'm trying to amend this.
So yeah, we have little sparks notes on this. A traveling cleric that gets eventually ambushed by undead, ends up having a vendetta against them, and carrying over the armor of his fallen brother. Her fallen brother.
You said his.
Did I? Oh, my bad.
Dare you?
Yeah, and it's a character that follows Caden Kaleen, the god of drunkenness and adventure. All right.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we have Bilgra and Gillard. Chris, what do you got for us?
Okay. All right. So I've got. Oh well. First, I got to share my screen, don't I? Okay.
You got some character art. You got someone to draw something for you?
Yes, Mr. Johnny Cage.
Oh my gosh! Okay, I'm glad
nice.
I'm not the only one who is extra as fuck.
Wait, what?
That is my character. That is Acadia of the House of Hostess. He is a leshi, a mushroom man, basically a fungus leshi. He is part of a big kingdom that lives in basically a giant dump outside of a large city. And it's all leshies. And one day, a certain druid shows up to the kingdom and basically starts eating the mushroom leshies and smoking the leaf leshies and popping the gourd leshies' heads after they get high off of them, and then leaves. So they all see it as like the monster, the beast that attacked their kingdom. And so my character sets out on an expedition to bring this character to Leshy law, justice. And he's always trying to basically prove himself because being the son of the queen, he's trying to inherit the throne. But of course, there's all these other siblings he has to, be better than them. So he's like a big explorer and adventurer. But because they're so small and they have such short lifespans, he's only been like maybe a block outside of the kingdom. So he knows like nothing about the real world, but he thinks he does.
Well, for a mushroom, that is a lot.
Yeah. Very adventurous for a mushroom.
Yeah. So like at one point in time, there's like a creature that keeps attacking, like kind of showing up outside the kingdom, and they keep thinking they kill it, but it keeps coming back. And then finally he slays it, and he's so proud of it, but it's actually just a possum that kept playing dead. And he wears the cape, and he has all these little scrap metals and bits that he proclaims as like war medals. And he
What's his
insists
name
on it.
again?
Acadia of the House of Hostess.
Acadia.
Yeah.
I
Their
love
name,
it.
yeah, they're the noblemen's names are all based off of stuff you'd find at a dump, like Hostess snack cakes
Oh
and
my
Acadia
God.
water bottles. So, and because like I said, they have these short lives and everything. Their knowledge doesn't they don't remember their past real well, so they just think that everybody else took their names. They based it off them because they're so like pompous and proud.
I love it. And I love that I'm not the only person who did a color drawing. Who did this one?
Johnny Cage.
Johnny Cage did this. Good
Yeah.
job, Johnny. It's a very
Oh,
good
yeah.
drawing.
Yes.
He was in the chat there earlier.
Right.
He did a great job.
But yeah, good job.
All right. Thanks, Chris. I feel like that was very succinct. I don't really think that we need sparks notes on that one.
God damn it.
No. It's just you now, Vinnie. You got something to share?
Yeah. Hold on a second. Yeah, so this guy actually, I drew him up for a drawing stream maybe 2
Ooh.
months ago. So I tweaked him a little bit, but yeah. So I was told we should be doing voices and stuff for these characters. So he was loosely based on Alex Jones. So his name is Al G.
Algae.
This guy, he was an orphan, left with the circus. He's a half orc, and he became a strongman in this circus. But he started finding out there was some corruption going on, and he didn't like the star attraction of the circus, this swamp frog, because the swamp frog and his people, they were putting poison in the water to turn the people into monsters. And he said this is wrong, so he stopped it. So in the process of destroying the circus, he leaves and he finds a tribe of orcs, and they welcome him in. They don't care that he's a half orc, and he gets married to this woman called Ula. But the swamp frogs, they want revenge on him, so they killed his woman. So he's on a quest for revenge. He wants to stop the swamp frog, and yeah, he runs into this other band of characters. So simple.
Sweet.
Alright.
Yeah, it's a great drawing.
Thanks.
LG.
All right. So let's see. Half orc orphan that is left in the circus shows what did you say? The conspiracy going on with them.
Yes.
As in the
swamp frogs.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
poison in the water.
Yeah. The conspiracy with the water being poisoned by the frogman over there. Parts with the circus and then joins an orc tribe, you said, and that's where he meets Ula, who gets fridged by the
vengeful swamp frog. Yeah,
vengeful swamp frog. There you go, and he's on the warpath. Alrighty, so that's LG.
Woo!
Okay. All right.
So
we got the backstories going. So again, like I don't know how familiar the chat might be with it, but similar to kind of like video games, how we talked about how everybody kind of rolled stats. It's kind of like the inclination, strengths, and weaknesses that kind of make the backbone of the number crunching for all of this stuff. So we ended up kind of rolling these things around. Chris, Vinnie, did you guys both get the little character sheet page here, the one that's the arena showing?
I got it, but I was running late, so I didn't get a good look at what I had to do.
Okay, no, don't worry. You don't.
It's okay. There's a lot of numbers and shit on there.
This is what we're doing.
Know.
This is what we're doing now. Don't worry. Just as long as you guys have it, that's all.
Oh, by the way, have we posted a link in the chat yet for this character sheet?
I don't think so.
not in the chat. I'll post it. Yeah, by the way,
Cool.
everyone, AC made this sheet, and it's a sheet that does like all the math for you. So it's available on Google Docs. You can just make a copy of it to use for yourself if you want to start playing Pathfinder. It's really awesome. She's nuts. She likes making spreadsheets and doing math. I don't know what's wrong with her. I'm going to post a link to this in the chat. And basically, the way the game. Sorry, what?
Be warned, everybody. If you guys use this sheet, you guys really do want to read those instructions on the top, because you don't want to be touching things that actually mess up the math and stuff.
Like it's extremely like, I love Google Sheets because like it allows you to just like have all these like algorithms and math done for you. But the big problem of it is that if you type in the wrong spot, then it just fucks everything up. Excuse me. Well, yeah, like
Ariel.
How dare you? Never swear on my channel.
Yeah, so you just got to be really careful that you don't type in the wrong spot. So I try to like tell you where not to type, but you know, it's possible. So you just got to be careful about that when you use
Link
it.
is in the channel. Oliver, what's up? Then Ron Gill is here. Shane O'Sullivan. I hope you guys are ready for some fucking nerdery. All right. Let's see. Let's go back here. All right. So I wanted to just say really quick, the way I like to describe the game is it's like just an MMORPG, sort of, but you're doing all the math yourself. But this is like you're building the character and you calculate their abilities and stuff. This is what all the math is. But this section right here that I'm highlighting, this is like their base abilities. So strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. That's what you start with. And it sounds really complicated, like it's a lot of math. But really, once you get to know everything on the sheet, it becomes very intuitive because it's just like improv. We're just role playing and we're just like acting out. You know, it's like. And we'll have a game board eventually when we do the game session next time. It's just like improv with the gaming board. So
essentially, like it can sometimes be a little bit hard, especially for people starting out, because again, all of the numbers and stuff can be a little bit daunting. But the idea is to just work through this so that even if people don't necessarily know the rules starting out, they kind of know where to find things and they plug them in themselves. You know, a little bit of just like muscle memory of where things go. And as long as we have this thing with all the numbers and everything assigned where it should be, when we play, it's just about acting out the things, saying what you do, and the DM, being the people leading the game, or your other players can help you, just telling you what you need to roll for anything that you would wish to do. As you get more familiar, it'll be more intuitive, and you can take more of an initiative on how you handle it.
Hell yeah! So let's get started.
So guys, I believe Irene, Ariel, and Chris, we had already kind of talked about where you guys wanted to put your statistics, your ability points here on the character sheet, and assigned the bonuses from your race. For you, Vinnie, I think we had suggested it, but we had not actually like kind of landed on it. So. On the character sheet, guys, just fill out on the yellow spaces next to each ability score. So, you know, there's strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma.
Irene is ahead of the game, and she's like entering all these other things right now.
Yeah,
Sorry.
That's what you guys are supposed to be doing, honey.
I can't type into any of this right now.
You need to make a copy. Go to File and access Make a Copy. So that'll save a copy to your Google Sheets and Google Drive.
The one I shared, you can't edit that because that'll destroy the original copy. So make a copy of it to edit yourself.
Yeah, so there you go, everybody. That's why it's important to read the instructions in the very top.
Well, I came here late, like I said, so I didn't know.
That's cool. That's cool.
Nice.
So, are we just gonna like breeze over how to do character stats?
For now, yes, because that's kind of what we skipped. But I think maybe we'll have to kind of talk a little bit with Vinnie about it since he still has to make the decision there. But it might help to actually just see what everybody has kind of picked out for you guys. So like Irene says, since you're the one that is sharing it. So like, what are like the main stats for your guy?
Sure. Yeah. Since I already have it shared and I'm pretty familiar, let me just walk everyone through this. So we already rolled stats beforehand, and I have my stats as, let's see.
Can we just like explain how stats work, because we're really like doing this as a tutorial, right? So how we do stats is you can either do like a point buy system, which you can look that up.
We went on that.
You didn't explain how we roll stats. How we roll stats is we tend to take 4 d6s, which are the 6-sided dice like these. You take 4 of them, you roll them, and then you subtract which has the lowest value and add up the other 3.
That's one statistic.
And that's one
You
statistic.
do that 6 times, then you have 6 stats.
Yes, and you get to allocate them wherever you want. Okay. It wasn't that difficult, sweetie.
I just feel like it's a little it's good to explain, but it's a little complicated without a visual aid.
It's
But
not
basically,
complicated.
The thing is just everybody has their system, honey. So it's like that's not universal for
Well, that's how we're doing it.
okay. Well, yeah. Basically, we roll a few d6, and this is all explained on the website, by the way. So that's all makes sense. Basically, you roll 6 times, and we let every player allocate the numbers that you roll however they want. So I have a bunch of numbers. I have let's see, 16, 16, 13, 9, 15, 16. So the way I'm going to allocate these is I've decided that my character is actually going to be like a pretty freaking strong druid. So let's do strength 16. Actually, strength. Let's do 15. By the way, don't put the stats in the yellow box. Don't touch the italics on the right. I made that mistake and totally fucked it up. On the left, yeah. So put it in the yellow box. So strength. Why don't you explain what each of these stats are as I fill them out? Strength and dexterity.
Yeah. Well, strength is very self-explanatory. As how hard you can hit. Dexterity is pretty much just how swift or agile you are. So it's essentially like more often than not how well you can dodge things. And constitution is the strength of your body. So your capacity to fight off disease, or for video game players, it's also the stat that would feed you extra HP. So those are the 3 physical stats, and then we have the mental stats: intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. Intelligence is actually just book smarts, what you actually know or have learned. Wisdom is oftentimes referred to almost as street smarts. It's intuitiveness, perceptiveness, being able to kind of read between the lines, sense the motive of other people. And charisma is the general. It can be interpreted a bunch of ways. Some people interpret it as just like general attractiveness, your handle on just like the social games and how to move them around with you, or just your natural magnetism, or kind of like sometimes even interpreted as life force for someone. So, Irene, how is your guy leaned in here? So like pretty. Oh, okay. So it's very lean towards physical stats. Irene, as you guys can see, Irene rolled really high. Stats that are at a 10, that is the average. That is like average for an average person. Anything below a 10 is lower than average, and everything higher than a 10 is higher than average. So any really high stats are kind of nearing 20. Very low stats start happening when you are at a 8 or a 7 and keep going lower.
Yeah, Irene has a tendency to roll bonkers stats.
All right, so
well, I tend to roll pretty good stats, but then like one really shit one. So at least there's one negative, because I don't want characters that are just good at everything.
So horrible.
Yeah,
9.
it helps to have
below average.
It helps to have some strengths, but also a weakness, so that you can kind of round out your character, and especially in a collaborative game where people are kind of supposed to help each other out, especially when there's openings, some things that someone can't do or would be worse at. It gives everybody space to show up and have their own role and not be stepping over everybody's toes.
That's right. And yeah, by the way, the Constitution, that actually was a 16, but because humans get a +2 to any ability score of their choice, I put a +2 in that because I want my guy to be like indestructible and like be able to ingest all the poisons and smoke all the weird psychedelics and still be fine. So that's why I made his Constitution insane.
So essentially, Irene's character is just good at most things. So it's like strong, swift, durable, and very wise, which is good because she picked to make a druid, and just slightly smarter than average, and then rather uncharismatic.
Right. Yeah, he's pretty good at doing things, but very annoying. There you go.
It's worth noting for anybody who's not familiar as well that it's like all races will affect your base scores in some way or another.
Yeah, we'll get through that.
Well, no, I mean, they all affect. It's just something that happens. That's why, And with humans, you get to choose which one you want. So that's why Irene put it where she wanted, which was in what, wisdom? Or no, in con.
Constitution.
In Constitution. Yeah.
So it'll vary with everybody.
Yeah.
So for the base score, I don't. Do I put the I don't put the race modifiers in there yet?
No. You if you already have them, Vinnie. Sorry, Chris. I'm getting tied up. If you already have them, you apply them all together. Just Irene already put it there. It's just that with Vinnie in particular, we had not decided. So that's why I wanted to go with him and talk about the race stuff. So plug in the base numbers that you got, Chris. Same for you, Vinnie. Just plug in the ones that you had, where you want to put them. And if you understand the modifications that come with the races that you guys made, you can also just do that right away and just have the final result numbers. Like we said, Irene picked a human. That one lets you just pick one stat. She chose Constitution, whichever one. That's kind of like the explanation for a lot of role-playing games for like human versatility, why they're so propagated everywhere. They're just so gosh darn versatile that they're
flexible.
Basically, they're like the average. Oh, we're just the average of everything. But to incentivize players to still play humans because they're essentially boring, it's like, oh, you get a bunch of you get a bonus stat and you get to do everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and Ariel picked a dwarf. Do you remember the modifications that come with yours stats, honey?
Yeah, dwarves get, I believe, +2 to their Constitution, +2 to their wisdom, and -2 to their charisma.
Yeah, so very hardy, wise, and long-lived, but very rough around the edges and rather uncharismatic. So those naturally kind of modify the ability scores.
Yeah, and if you go on D20 page, you see under the races tab, you have half elves, dwarves, gnomes, humans, all this. This is explained all right here.
Yeah.
There you go.
Honey, so how did you put your scores in your gal?
Okay. I don't know. Do you want me to share my screen?
Sure. Or you can say whichever one you feel.
Here we go.
Alrighty.
Okay, so that's not true. I didn't put 11 there. What did I put in here? Hang on, I'm gathering my bearings. Oh, actually, no, that was right. So she has 11 strength, has 9 dex.
Very slow.
Yeah, so I am not a very good fighter. I'm very average with strength and dexterity. My constitution would have been a 14, but because I'm a dwarf, it bumps it up to a 16. So I'm very hardy. Intelligence 11, very average. Wisdom would be a 15, but since I am a dwarf, it bumps it up to a 17. And charisma would be a 16, very charismatic, but for only because she's a dwarf.
It gets lowered to a 14.
Yes.
Okay, well, there you go. All righty. Chris, so, with Chris, we did do, since he wanted to pick a bit of a weird race, we went to find it. It's as for some of you guys, what you might know as third party, which is something that is not made by the main company, by somebody else, kind of like custom made, which is something that people can make if they like creating their own races or monsters. And I helped out Chris because I felt like the one that he found was a little underpowered for what he wanted. He wanted to make his mushroom man, but it was trying to be like really reeled back and take away all of the really powerful stuff that plant monsters get. So we made a custom one that let him have most of that.
Okay.
So Chris, why don't you walk us through the stats that you rolled and how the modifications from your race left them at?
Okay, so I share my thing here. Okay.
Sure thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I think I gotta fix it, right? So it says on here my weakness ability bonus -1. It says +2 Constitution. So I gotta change my Constitution now from a 13 to a 15, right?
Is the 13 is what you originally rolled, Chris?
Yes.
Okay, then yeah, you add that to it.
Okay, then that's okay. But yeah, I rolled a 13 to strength and a 14 to dexterity, a 15 to constitution, or well, a 13, but I bumped it up there. My intelligence, I rolled an 8, but I get a -4 to it from being a mushroom. So
So Acadia is extremely dumb, but a normal amount of intelligence for a sentient shroom.
But I like that because
Yeah.
it fits into his he doesn't know the outside world.
I think this is so gutsy.
His wisdom, I rolled
Brave.
I rolled a 17 in wisdom, but I get a -2 for my mushroom, so I'm a 15.
Okay.
And then I have 17 charisma.
Wow.
All right. So
You're a sexy shroom, Lord Ravener says.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. Yes.
I'm the son of the prince. Of course, I got to make sure I look good.
Awesome.
yeah, so we essentially have had two characters that are a bit more of their mental stats or defensive stats are kind of stronger with Bilra and Acadia, and surprisingly, the anorexic hippie is the one that so far has the biggest strength, the most agile, the most hardy of the group.
I tend to build really skinny, weak-looking characters that are actually indestructible.
Right? It's very anime.
Very
Yeah,
yes.
So, but let's see now that we go over to Vinnie with Ali G, and is that image of those freaking rippling muscles.
Yes.
It's algae, not Ali G.
Bro, thank you.
Algae.
I am so used to thinking Ali G. Thanks.
Wait.
Thanks, Chris.
You've got a hyphen in your name? What is going on?
Yeah, Al G.
I was like G stands for your last name or something. What is this?
I didn't want to make it a J. It would have been too on the nose.
I guess it's doesn't sound very
this-
medieval, but it's cool. It's ahead of its time.
This is all about subtlety with Al G, guys.
All right,
Yes.
so well, these are the stats we talked about that night. So,
Yeah.
so since the strength is a +4, so it just turns into 22. Is that how that works?
Oh no. Well, remember.
What?
No,
Plus
remember.
4?
No. Remember, Vinny. You just have the stats that you rolled.
Mhm.
Your race as a half orc, what you get is actually a +2 on one ability score, but you get to choose which one, similar to how Irene did it.
Yeah, because half orcs are half human and half orc, so they have
Okay.
that same bonus. As
Yeah.
humans.
I think you're confusing a thing that is the number that you plug in, Vinny, is called your ability score. That is the total number.
Mhm.
And there's a thing on the side. You see on those columns, right on the left of it. One of them says modifier.
Yeah.
Yeah, that thing is it's a representation of how much of a bonus your actual score gives you. So having an 18,
Mhm.
the math behind it is your score -10 divided by 2. That is your modifier. So that's a +4. It's not that you get something from your race. It's just that's the bonus that number gives you.
Oh, okay.
For the game, and they'll plug that in automatically through your sheet.
Yeah, you don't have to do the nitty-gritty math for this, which is why the sheet is great.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Vinny, so what was it? What was your actual score on the strength?
No, that's what it was. It was 18.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
that's
wow.
right.
All right,
That's why I
yeah.
said with the modifier. That's why I said with the modifier.
Yeah, there you go. So for those that don't know, that's a maxed out score at character creation
You
for
have to
18.
roll 3 6s
Yeah.
to get that.
3 6s.
He rolled that.
Yeah. So no one.
They were witnesses.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So there you go, Vinny. We have 18 strength, 7 dexterity. So kind of sluggish. Constitution 10, 9 intelligence, wisdom 12, and charisma 14. All right. So we mostly have dum-dums on the team. Okay. So
Well,
Vinny,
you guys told me that's the best. That's the best to kind of do with the character. So that's what.
the best to do with your character is picking what you would like, Vinny. That's what we
Yes.
kept telling you the whole way.
Whatever you want.
Well,
me
there
and
was.
Vinny
Because
just did
I
what
was
we
going
were
to move
told.
dexterity up, and you guys told me since it's a half orc that you could only go a certain amount with it.
No.
That's what I remember.
No.
I feel like you're misremembering things, but that's okay, Vinny.
Okay.
Yeah, I
so-
have a Dexy
we should have done a refresher before we jumped on here.
No, that's
That's
okay,
cool.
Vinny. It's okay. Like that's the thing. Just like we just put those numbers on how we talk. It's fine if you actually feel a bit indecisive and you want to change them around.
Yeah.
That's
as long
fine.
as we haven't started the game.
No, we can go with it. It doesn't matter.
Okay. So Vinny, as everybody kind of talked about it, they all had their scores a bit modified by the race. Half orcs, since they're essentially a unfortunate, more often than not, unfortunate and forceful result of the union of an orc and a human. They get the versatility and their bonus as a human. So unlike Chris and Ariel's characters that have static bonuses where they have to put it, you get that +2 bonus, and you can put it on one of those stats, and you can choose which one you would like to boost up a little bit from what you got by 2.
Okay. So,
Do
alright.
you know where you would like to put it, Vinny?
Yeah, if I want to put on dexterity.
Okay. Oh, there you go.
Cool.
All right.
Good choice.
So should I just change this to a 9?
Yep. There you go.
Just modify it.
Alright.
Don Rungil has a question. Is there a percentage modifier roll for the 18 strength layer like there used to be for AD&D?
Percentage modifier roll. I actually don't know what you're referring to.
I'm not sure either.
I suppose not. Probably.
Yeah.
At least from I'll answer what I think you're asking. That is maybe like the chance of being able to get it, which is as AC explained, the way that we kind of roll the stats was with 4d6s for every stat. We roll them and just take out the lowest number to add those 3. Like 18 or like the percentile chance of getting them. I mean, it's unlikely to get it if that's what you ask.
Oh, Alex VRB said no, so that's an AD&D thing.
Okay, yeah, I'm not really sure because we don't really go from old AD&D. We jumped into Pathfinder, just kind of fell in love with it.
Yeah, Alex
Yeah.
seems to know what he's talking about.
Okay.
Talking
All right,
about
well,
how
I
you
guess-
Yeah, this is old school original
Okay,
D&D
we'll leave
thing.
it to that. Oh yeah, that's a different thing. Like if that's a different system, that's what that we're talking about. Sometimes people roll. Some people like to do point buy, which is a system that uses a pool of points. And the higher the stat that you want to put, the more expensive it is, and then the less you have to allocate on the rest of the stats.
Mhm.
The problem with that is that it leans towards making every class have the same stats because you have
Every
the same
character,
pool. So,
yeah.
like every paladin will be very strong and
right.
very charismatic. Every druid will be very wise and high in constitution. So this allows for a little bit of problem solving from the players and a bit more. A bit less verisimilitude between every character that gets created. And it allows for people like Irene and Chris to have 2 druids that are very different from one another.
Yes.
As Acadia is extremely physically weak, but
And
very
one goes
charismatic.
on a pizza.
There you go. One goes on a pizza, another one eats the pizza.
Exactly. Yeah, Pathfinder is in case we haven't mentioned it in this stream, Pathfinder is a spin-off of D&D 3.5, but it's still a different system because they've changed it a lot.
All right, guys. So we have the sheets out. We have the stats. We were talking a little bit about race, which again for the chat and stuff. The sheet will be the kind of the plug-in area to put in these decisions. The 3 pieces that we essentially work with are the ability scores that we just put in that represent the strengths and weaknesses of the character. Then we are gonna work through the stuff with the race, which will kind of add, cultural stuff, modify some values, give them some abilities, some weaknesses, some maybe antagonisms. As Algie will probably find out that there's a lot more races that both hate him and that he probably hates, besides Frogman. And then the third thing will be actually a class, which for video game players or people that have seen other podcasts, is just, like the Rogue, which is like the DPS role, the Barbarian, which is just high damage and no armor, just taking hits. The Cleric, like Bilra, usually the healer and kind of face of the character, which of the team, which is usually like charismatic and the one that kind of speaks for the team. those are kind of generic blanket ways of defining them. But the thing with Pathfinder is that it's very modular. So it helps us actually plug in and plug out so that we don't always have to lean on just being the stereotypic version of that character. As you guys have seen again with Irene and Chris, very different druids, very different creatures. So we'll have a little bit of variety so everybody can kind of shine in their own way in the game. Okay, so from the links, guys, on the private chat, I'm assuming here too, let's go over onto the D20 site, which is the main resource page that we will be using whenever we have to inquire or kind of check up on stats and all of the other stuff regarding the mechanics of the game. On there, let us let's open up the class page. So again, for Irene and Chris, let's open up the Druid page. For Ariel, let's open up the Cleric page. And for Vinnie, let's go for the Barbarian. Remember that these are all in the left side of the tabs underneath class.
Right here.
Core, I think it's like core classes, I believe. My computer's a little slow.
Yeah, we're all doing core classes. Keep
Yeah.
it easy.
Yeah, so go to core classes, and that's where we'll find the, quotation marks, kind of like the job or kind of like the general build for the character.
The profession of your character. So you
Yeah.
pick a race and then you pick a profession, and then
Just as a refresher for people, that's d20pfsrd.com is where we're using.
Okay. All right. And Vinnie and Chris, remind me, guys, did you happen to jot it down the archetype that you guys have picked for your characters?
Ooh, this is pretty art.
Well, what do you mean? Archetype? Was that the royal mushroom?
No. Remember, for you, Chris, is you want it to be like the Leshy Warden, right?
Oh yeah, the class. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's what the archetype is, which is like.
Oh yeah. It's the variant class thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's kind of like how. Yeah, that's a good way of calling it. Yeah. So it's like so like the main page that Irene is scrolling down with is kind of like all the rules and stuff for like the vanilla version of the class, which is totally workable, really fun, and even on there has a lot of options for you to kind of make it your own. But one of the things, if you keep scrolling down onto an area called Archetypes, you can pick a much more modular and like kind of pick and choosy part of it, which you can pick particular flavors. Chris, for example, since he picked a druid that is a little mushroom guy, he found this archetype or subclass of the druid that let him actually focus on just being able to summon, hang out, and communicate with a bunch of his little mushroom buddies. So he quite liked that because he wanted to kind of be in like summon hordes kind of a character.
Yeah, so all that archetypes are is they're just a flavor of the regular class, and that they take out some class abilities and replace them with other ones to kind of make them more unique in the way that you might want.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think mine was Untamed Ranger.
Yeah, I think I'm the only vanilla class here. I picked vanilla cleric. And I think all the rest of you guys are playing archetypes. I like archetypes, but I'm always tempted to pick an archetype, but this time I'm like, nothing really fits my concept. I'm cool with the regular cleric. So.
Okay. So for this part, since Irene and Ariel already kind of know this part, let me go to either Chris or Vinnie so that I can help you guys out with this.
Why don't we focus on Chris and Vinnie because they're the new players, and you guys share your screen, and Nick will walk you through the class pages, and I mean, AC and I can fill out our sheets in the back on our own.
Or you mentioned in the stats.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of surprised that we're going for class before race.
It's we'll be jumping between things a little bit because it's just to kind of ease things in so that we can understand them as we go. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So who's going to share? Chris, Vinnie.
Yeah, I got it. Sure.
Okay.
Apparently, Chimera says you sound like English teacher.
You kind of have to go in a certain mode.
You do have to, yeah. You have to kind of, especially for new players. And no, we don't call anybody that. We're very nice.
I tend to be more opinionated or leading, but when you want to do it, you kind of have to be like the impartial party that is just there to help out.
Yeah.
And telling people when to shut up.
Oh, that's funny, Ryan Blue Thunder. A frog bar with an inspiring thunder bagpipe. Yes!
Yes!
Yes! That'll be great. All right, Vinny's sharing. There we go.
Okay, so for Vinny and Chris, when you guys, we need to have you guys open the main page for your class, and then on a tab on the side, open the page of your archetype. Remember, you can find that one scrolling down onto the lower area of your class page. There's also a little what do you call that? Not bookmarks, but like a little guide box.
Yeah, a little table of contents.
Table of contents.
But before you get to that,
like, for the archetypes.
Vinny, can you share your web page? I think that's what we're really looking for right now.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. Yeah, because you told me to grab. Because I have them open. I have them in separate tabs over here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Perfect.
Sorry, I got too many windows open right now.
The archetypes are always like they're usually at the bottom of the class page.
No. I opened up in another tab as I had them separated.
All right.
This live stream is sponsored by Lowe's, apparently.
All right.
Yeah, there's a lot of pop-ups on this site.
It's pretty annoying, I know.
Yeah, but it is. The thing is just that this is actually not made or actually like led by Paizo. This is like actually fan led. So it kind of we kind of have to sometimes take a go with that one.
But it's really useful.
Mm-hmm.
So
and at least the only pops-ups are just like buying more Pathfinder products and not like dick pills or something.
That would be nice. Not dick pills. I don't want that.
Oh boy.
Maybe someone out there wants it.
What
Go
kind
to
of game are you
D20.
playing?
So, you don't want to know.
So Vinny, Chris,
Yes.
what we're gonna be starting out doing on the main class page is you go now that you guys have the both tabs, go onto the main page and go over close to the top where you'll be on big bold letters. You'll have an area that says class skills. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, I believe, Vinny, I think yours are all good on that one. Chris, I'm not sure about yours. So what you have, Vinny, all you have to do is look at the list of all of these skills right under class skills. They'll give you a list of all of these ones, and then you can go onto your character sheet and cross out kind of like.
You're talking about where you put in your class skills,
yes.
Right? So if you look on your character sheet, there's a section on the right side called skills, and it's very long, it's very tall, and it has it starts with acrobatics, appraise, bluff, climb, all of those. That's the section we're looking at right now. You'll notice that there's a little space. There's a little column that's empty next to the names of all of those skills.
Yeah, it's a little box.
So I usually put an X in there, but you can just fill it in.
Yeah, just make sure you just kind of cross it to just kind of like a check mark of your own to know that one has been kind of crossed out.
Yeah, like an X or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you need to cross out the ones that are on your class page that say class skills. Those ones, it means that your character preemptively, because of being like a barbarian or because of being a druid, you guys are kind of like assumed to have trained or know about these things, and so you'll get certain benefits from this. We'll go over that, but you just need to cross those out. Vinny, you just need to go get those ones. Chris, you need to check between your main class and your archetype and see on the top of your archetype and see if it tells you that it changes your class skills at all. If not, just go for the druid ones and just start crossing out all of those class skills.
It often helps if you have a friend to read them off. Vinny, do you want me to read them off to you and you just start checking them off?
Well, that's the thing that's what I was confused on. Like, where am I supposed to?
Oh, it's on the.
There's 4 boxes here that are empty, like next to it.
No. Just go to the one on the most left of those big columns.
See, yeah, there's
the one that's like a little box.
There's
just on the
no.
right on the
There.
far left. There you go. Yeah, so
Okay.
those ones are the ones you just cross it out there to just mark which ones you have there.
Oh,
Do you want me to read them off to you?
yeah, that'd be better.
Okay. You have acrobatics,
We just put an X.
climb. Yeah, that's right. Craft. If you have craft, I know that there are 3 crafts in there. Just check off all of them because you can like make different crafts. You have handle animal.
That's it's a grayed out.
Don't worry if it's grayed out.
Okay.
You can fill it anyways.
All right.
You get intimidate, knowledge nature,
Ooh, what the hell happened?
perception,
Hold on.
Okay.
I just went to scroll and it changed. Intimidate. What was the next one? Knowledge. What?
knowledge nature,
Where's nature? Oh, there it is.
perception. They're all in alphabetical order, by the way.
Gotcha.
Ride. It's like riding a horse.
Mhm.
Survival. And swim. That's it.
He could jump into the swamp. Get those frogs.
All right, and Chris, how are you doing on that? Did you see at the top of if there's any changes, or are you all good with just the druid one?
It's just the druid one.
Cool.
From
Okay.
what I can tell.
Yeah, it'll tell you like at the top of your archetype page, it'll say like your class skills are changed. If it doesn't say that at all, then it's just normal druid stuff. So you just got normal druid skills.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, and the druid has quite a bit: climb, craft, fly, handle animals, heal, knowledge geography, knowledge nature, perception, profession, ride, spellcraft, survival, and swim. All right, guys. So everybody have those your abilities crossed out.
No, I haven't. I didn't know how we were doing this
So,
exactly.
all right. No, I mean I get it. You've been helping out. Thanks, honey. So like I guess focus on that, and I'll keep going with the rest. So on that around that same area, guys. The next thing that we look at is you go a little bit higher, and you'll above class skills, you'll see another little notification on your main class page that says starting wealth. For example, the druid one, I believe, is 2d6 times 10, and then it says GP. GP is gold pieces. So for the druid, Chris and Irene would have to grab 2d6s, which are the square dice that you use in most board games. We'll roll those 2, add the result, and then multiply it by 10. That is your money that you'd be starting out with. Vinnie, for example, on yours, do you see what the amount that it tells you to roll is?
Starting wealth.
Yes.
It's 3d6 times 10.
Oh, there you go. So
This is the average is 105.
yeah, so you can roll 3d6s, 3 of the square dice, and just add that result and multiply it by 10.
Oh, we're
Let's I'll
yeah, I need the dice thing.
Yeah, I want more dice.
Irene, can you help out with the link for the dice roller? Again, like my computer is just dying from just streaming.
Sorry, I was just absorbed in filling out my own character sheet. By the way, Woodrow, have fun at work. Or
Oh, bye, Woodrow.
bye, Woodrow.
Have a good
Thanks
one.
for joining.
Yeah.
Okay, there's an online dice roller. It's a lot easier than if you don't have dice. Let me share it.
we love rolling physical dice just
Yeah.
because I love the clacking of them, but yeah.
I
It's
bought
also-
a bunch. I bought a
can
bunch of dice at the con yesterday.
Oh.
Look at this dice that I have. I got this on New York Comic Con. I can kill a person with it.
Oh my
right,
gosh,
yeah.
I love those.
Right, you said that those are
Yeah.
the middle ones, right?
Yeah, it's a giant metal one.
Those
I
are-
actually don't roll because I don't have any surface that can withstand it. I'll just kill my table if I
I
roll
was gonna
it.
say those are people killer and table.
What about the floor?
Probably, yeah.
I've been
So-
using this we have a phone case box that we've had around. It's all busted and ugly, but I've just been using it to roll stuff.
Yeah, it works.
So yeah, like as you guys see, like the druids are tend to lean towards being like vagrants or kind of tree huggers out of the wilderness. So just the fact that a barbarian, which is also just usually a pillager or a strong man that is not like particularly like going known for having like a stable job, already rolls more dice for getting money.
I rolled
than the druids.
shit.
Yeah, all right.
I rolled so bad. I rolled 46s and I got a 5, a 2, a 2, and a 1.
All right.
Shit.
So what is that up to, honey?
What does it add up to?
Spend all your money
That's
on
100.
booze.
I get 100 gold.
Okay, so that was 10
It's not
total.
too bad.
Right, it's 10.
So yeah, the result was you got a 10 from that. Multiply by 10, 100, and then GP. Those are 100 gold pieces. And that's the money that you'll have to work with for level 1 as your character starting out. How about the rest of you guys? What did you guys roll, and what money did you get?
Hold on, it's 3 of those, like the second one on that website.
Yeah, the one that looked like a square, Vinny. D6.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the modifier, you put what? 10?
No. You don't add anything. You just roll those. You just roll those and add that result. What do you get out of those 3 together? Or 4. I forget how much you got.
1, 3, 1 plus 0. So it says a 5. I don't know.
Okay, so yeah, there you go. 5. 5 times 10, 50. So your starting money is 50 gold, Vinny.
Ouch.
Ooh.
Oh, we're gonna
That's
be
rough.
the poor group.
I mean, he is a barbarian. It's like so, Vinny. If you go onto your character sheet, you can scroll down. Let's see, where is it on this character sheet?
It's below kind of everything that you see immediately. There's a section on the left that you'll find as you scroll down.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, it's right under equipment.
Going down all the way on that big column that we had talked about, Vinny, where all the skills are. Going all the way down, and then to the left, you will see the little box that says money.
It's just on the left-hand side. Just scroll down until you see money.
Wait. For the character sheet?
Yeah.
Just hold back, honey. It's okay.
Money.
All right, Vinny, do you see it scrolling down from
platinum, gold, silver, copper?
Yeah. And so you have GP, gold pieces. So you plug in 50 there.
Okay.
I'm poor. I got 60 gold. I mean,
60
I did
gold.
write that he's poor as shit, so that fits.
All right. I mean, you still have more cash over the barbarian.
We all so poor.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's cool. I don't need no money. I need my shrooms.
You just put
Chris, you better have money.
I need my drugs. You are a prince. You should be the rich one.
Yeah. What did you get, Chris?
So I put in the 2d6, and I rolled, and it says 2 for results.
So you rolled a 1 and a 1?
Apparently.
Oh no, Chris, you rolled 1 d6. You didn't roll 2 d6.
No, he rolled a 1
No,
and he rolled a 5.
No, this is me. I'm sharing. I'm sharing.
Oh, okay, that's
Yeah.
okay.
Why don't you? Chris and Vinny, you guys should be sharing your screens so Nick can help you out.
Okay, I'll share mine.
So sorry, Chris. You got a 1 and a what?
Yeah, we're kind of dirt poor, but it's cool. We're just a bunch of like stupid druggies. Literally, that's what this party is.
So, Chris, as I was asking you.
Wait, I'm confused. Were we supposed to punch in the number of the dice, or were we supposed to just
Look, Vinny.
times?
Look, Vinny. If you can do it either way, it works just fine. If you plug in the number, it'll roll them all at once. If you roll them one by one, that's fine too. It's just as long as you keep track of the results that you get.
Oh, okay.
Again, Vinny, this is just a computer version of just rolling dice.
Right. Okay. No, I had it on 1. So now it's 12. So what? 12 times 10?
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. So yeah. Oh, there you go. So you got 120 gold then.
Nice.
All right.
No,
So,
I have 20,
better than me.
right?
one.
Gold?
So you got a 1 and a 1.
Yes.
That's
Ooh,
rough.
Yeah, that's 20.
That's rough.
You start out
Oh God.
report, which makes sense for your dumpster little mushroom.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was like, yeah, this is perfect. He's all like, yes, I have so much treasure. And then it's just crap. And nobody wants it.
Poor shit.
All right. Well, that tells you guys kind of like the pool that you have to work with. So, Vinny and Chris, remember to plug in that number over on the little box for gold.
In your character sheet.
Yeah. Yeah, where it says money. Everybody got there?
I'm here.
Yeah, I put 20 in the GP. Yes.
Cool. Alrighty. Okay. Now, next step that we're looking back on the character sheet, around that same area that we've been looking. We saw class scales. We saw starting wealth above. Let's see.
Above the table?
Underneath class skills, there's another part. It's a small line that just says skill ranks per level. Everybody see that?
Right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's above the table and underneath your class skills, typically. It's around that area.
I'm
Okay.
highlighting it.
All right. So the way that this works, guys, is that it's the smart classes, like wizards, investigators, that kind of stuff, will lean towards giving you more skill ranks. Essentially, this is the amount of points that you guys get to kind of like grow on different skills as you level up. But dumb classes, like for example, a barbarian, won't give you a lot. So you have less to work with. You're more about bashing people over the head than really learning to get a proper job and be good at it. Depending on the class that you guys get, well, you'll have a different equation, but it's just as simple. It's just like two numbers. So it'll say like for example, here on the Druid one, it says skill ranks per level 4 plus intelligence modifier. That means
I'm getting that from right above that big old chart here, class skills. Under here, it says skill ranks per level. This number is what you plug in right here.
Yeah, so the deal is that every time you level up, you get that many skill ranks to allocate where you want to put them.
Yeah, so we'll put those soon enough. We just need to be able to know how much you guys are getting every level. So again, for Druids, it's 4 plus intelligence modifier, which means you grab your 4, and then you look at remember, there's ability score, and then there's modifier. So you look at your scores over in intelligence, and look at what the modifier.
It's already plugged in.
Oh,
it does it automatically. You don't have to do that.
Right.
The sheet does the math for you.
Yeah, it already plugs in your intelligence for you, but it says your base, which is what the number is you're looking for. So
Okay.
if it's like 4 plus intelligence modifier, then next to where it says base, you put 4.
Yeah. So for example, because I'm sharing screen, so let me show you. For Druid, on the Druid page, it says skill ranks per level 4 plus intelligence modifier, right? So intelligence modifier, it's already automatically plugged in. That's 1. Base 4, I plug the 4 into here. That means every time I level up, I get 5. Skill ranks per level is highlighted right here, okay?
Yeah,
so now I have 5 points to put into this list of skills here. So here I put in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in this column. And that, because we're level 1, I'm just doing 5. We're done.
Well, yeah, so again, being smart will give you more. Chris and Vinnie, I believe both of you guys have dum-dums. So, but there's a gradient of dumbness here. So, Vinnie, for you, on there, I believe your modifier for intelligence was like -1 or -2. What was it?
-1.
-1, yeah. So you're just slightly dumb, not too dumb. So what for your barbarian? What was the base for that? It was 4 plus intelligence. So for you, it'll just reduce it by 1, and so every level you'll have 3 points to put through on things.
It is 4 plus intelligence, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's
I put the 4 into the base.
Perfect.
Now
You're golden.
Now for you, Chris. Since Acadia is very, very dumb, what is your modifier for intelligence?
Hold on.
Yes, Scotsman, that's great.
My modifier for intelligence is a -3.
Perfect.
-3, and your base is 4. So yeah, so every level you have 1 point. 1 point to put on things. I was just checking because I wanted to clarify. If your characters are actually dumb enough to lower that number to 0, you still get 1. So like it's a little bit forgiving to let everybody at least be able and learn something every level and not just be just blank-minded for the rest of their lives.
Otherwise, he really is pizza topping.
Dun Rungil asked, "Can the dum dum speak?" I think we can all speak, but not very well.
Yeah. That's a good point. We'll get to that because Acadia will have a bit of a challenge, unlike all of the other civilized races here.
Oh, but really quick, that is an interesting note. There is, if you look in the table of contents of the D20 site.
We're going on to. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, it's just like there's a section I think that says like ability scores or something, and you go in there and it'll talk about what ability scores do and all that stuff.
And it'll give you kind of like an example of what it represents, that ability score.
Yeah.
So it'll tell you like 10 and 11. Oh, that's a normal person. They know what to do, what they should do for their job, and what like general common sense is.
Yeah, that like Irene's showing the table for strength and what you can do if you're too weak or too strong or whatever.
And it'll give you also like examples like creatures or monsters that are like kind of represented around that range. So like if I remember correctly, we went into intelligence not too long ago and we saw like 6 and 7 is like, you're kind of slow. You kind of jumble your words sometimes when they're kind of long, and you have a hard time kind of not forgetting things. And examples that they have are like an ogre tends to be around 6 or 7 intelligence.
Yeah, Irene got to intelligence. So this will tell you when you can learn to speak.
Let's see. 2 or 3 is what the level of intelligence of most animals, and 4 or 5 you can react instinctively. Sometimes resorts to cherries to express thoughts. So like 4 to 5 you can speak.
4. The minimum is 4.
Yeah, you have to. 4 is the minimum for speak. You have some like magical animals that are smarter than average. They can speak, but not very smart. So there you go.
So
normal is 10. Once again,
it pretty much gives you the range. Like 4 is the intelligence of a toddler that has just barely learned to speak.
There you go.
Oh, okay.
So, what's your intelligence, Chris?
This is a 4.
Oh, John, you can speak. Good.
You can
speak. Alex VRB, I'm so sorry. We're so triggering here. So sorry. Oh God. I don't know how Jar Jar Binks can speak. I feel like it's a huge plot hole in Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Misa confused.
Oh my God. No.
Alrighty. So we now know how our range of dumb boys and smart boys in the team is. And we know what they get for that and the things that they kind of naturally know. Yeah, go ahead, Chris. What's up?
So do I put a point in somewhere for the skills?
No, yeah, we'll do that. Don't worry. But
Okay.
right now we're trying to get the info so that you know how to plug it in. You're putting we're building the tools, and now we're gonna go through that.
Irene is moving on ahead.
Yeah,
Please don't
that's what I
ignore
was
me.
wondering because I see Irene do it.
Yeah, don't worry about it, Chris.
Ignore Irene.
That's why I was saying, like, let's try and share with you and Vinnie so that I can help you guys at you guys' pace. So now you guys have this. What we would probably want to do right now, Vinnie, Chris, if you guys look over that list of skills, the ones that we kind of had you guys kind of fill out some of those X's, right? Here's how these guys work. Your stats, the strength, the intelligence, dexterity, all of these things, as you see with the sheet, are already kind of affecting the appropriate ability. So for example, acrobatics, you see that next to it, it says dex, and then it puts your modifier. So everything that is about your acrobatics, just jumping around, walking on a tightrope, is already affected by how nimble your character is, and it's already plugged in and affecting it to a final score, which is how they work. Like climb, that's for strong guys. So strength relies on that. Stronger characters will be better at that. And so your base ability scores will be the backbone of just kind of telling you how your base character already is kind of good at these things. And if you guys keep looking, these some of these abilities are grayed out, and they have a little asterisk on the right of the name. So this is the difference. All skills that are not grayed out or have a little asterisk are skills that anybody can use. Anybody can try and lie with a bluff. Anybody can try and disguise themselves. It doesn't mean that they're good at it, but they can do it naturally.
Right.
The ones that are grayed out and has the asterisk are abilities or skills that you have to actually have learned in your life and spend time getting them to work in order to use them. If you don't have certain things going for you, you never can roll these abilities. So the little X's that you guys added is something that is called a class skill. These things is that your class, that being for Vinnie, the barbarian, and for Chris, your druid, your class makes it so that if you guys, your characters spend time at getting better at these skills, you will naturally get a little bit ahead than the average person. So let's say like barbarian. They kind of tend to live in the wild. They're kind of rough and tumble. They ride animals and all this. So if they spend some time in getting better at handle animals, they will be naturally better than people that are just like not very connected to nature and stuff like that. Or for example, Chris, as a druid, you probably have knowledge nature. You will probably, even if another character would go in there, you already are kind of predisposed at being good at it, but you're not necessarily there. That's why your class gives you this, and so it's one of the prerequisites to be able and use these skills that have the little asterisk. They have two prerequisites. One, those ones that are grayed out with the asterisk need to be class skills, which is that, crossed out like we had before. And the second thing is that right now they're quote unquote untrained, which means that you haven't spent any time on them. Mm-hmm. That's what we put ranks in there, those little points, and those will kind of unlock them. For the time being, I recommend for Chris, Vinnie, look through that list of abilities and look and see if your characters, you feel like you would really feel like your character, if it doesn't necessarily fit with the stereotypic barbarian abilities, one that you're like, oh man, like I feel like Algie would definitely like really know about all of the conspiracies in the arcane. Like there's all of those frogmen are always trying to do their filthy frog magic. I would know about the arcane, so I want to get that. Like make sure you kind of look on those. I like, oh man, like I really want those. And like maybe pick like one or two, or if you don't have any, that's fine. But like look and see if any of these skills that sound like something that you would really want for your character that are grayed out and you don't have them checked out to see if you want one. That'll be less of a priority for you in particular, Chris, because your character is so dumb that they won't really have much time to get good at a lot of things with 1 point every level. But still consider it. See if like the place that you probably want to be investing in is just not unlocked for you.
These skills are a lot of like abilities that you can use typically outside of battle. They're typically used in role playing stuff. Some of them you can use inside battle. I know the acrobatics is a common one to use inside battle, to try and get around enemies and stuff.
Yeah, but then there's like diplomacy. You usually use it outside of battle to just like talk people and kind of make your point, argue and kind of have them see your point of view.
Diplomacy is a really common one. Perception is a common one. Perception might not be self-explanatory at first. It's
noticing things.
It's noticing
being able
things,
to see them.
Perceiving.
It's the most rolled skill in the game, actually, because it's do you notice if this character, like the enemy is trying to hide something? Do you notice the enemy trying to jump in on you? When you're traveling in the wild, do you notice the threat in the horizon? So you roll it all the time, and for people who are just really new to role-playing games, these skills, this is evidence of why this isn't just like combat all the time. We're not just rolling to fight things. It's role-playing. We're improvising. So, for example, it's about acting a character, but sometimes if our characters get into arguments, for example, if my character starts arguing with Chris's character, Nick might make us roll opposing diplomacy checks to see whose role is higher, and that combined with how good our argument is determines who wins. So there you go.
Yeah. So, and like, for example, like some of the ones that you will very obviously see grayed out are the knowledge skills, because like those are things that you can't really wing. You can't assume that you're gonna get it right if you just roll like, I don't know, like a history check. If you never studied and you never paid attention to actually learning history, you're gonna probably just say some gibberish that has nothing to do with reality. So you have to, if you really want that, you would have to make it a class skill and spend time getting good at it to actually learn. The more points you have, the more learned you are on the subject.
I think it might help if Irene and I go over what we're picking first, because it's a long list of things, and Irene and I are experienced and we know which ones we want.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In real, just a couple of things in the chat. Sumo Thrower says flat-footed AC. Yeah, so you have your regular armor class. So flat-footed is when you're surprised, and when someone sneaks in on you, you don't notice, so you don't get your dexterity. You don't get to dodge. It's just like how strong your actual armor, your physical armor is.
We'll go over AC later.
Yeah,
but someone asked, so I wanted to address that.
I just want to clarify. Vinnie, Chris, we might, just like Irene just said, we'll be probably answering a bunch of questions on things that we might not even cover just yet. So don't worry too much about all the other weird rulings there.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about everything. We probably won't get through everything. Again, this is just supposed to be very basic. I know it's already complicated, but
it's an hour and a half. I'm going, okay. Are we just still punching numbers in?
Oh, no.
That's the whole point of this session.
Session 0.
Session 0 is usually a pain in the ass, but next session is when we just get to act goofy and have fun. So just to get things rolling, I'll walk everyone through why I picked why I put the skill ranks where I put them. So as you see, all the X's are where my druid class gives my character the proficiencies in these skills. So I already filled that in, and I get 5 ranks per level, and we're level 1. So level 1. So I decided to put 1 point in handle animal, because as a druid, I figured with his backstory, and he travels a lot, and he probably is pretty used to being in the wild. So he's not really an animal druid. He's more of a plant druid, but he would still be good with animals. So, and especially with that -1 charisma, he really needs to put more points into that, because if we run into beasts in the wild, druids also have special abilities that help them tame animals better, right? So I'm going to need to work on this. So if we run into wild animals, my druid can help out. So I put 1 point.
I'm going to go a little bit smaller on the descriptions for every skill.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm just doing the ones that I'm filled out, so I won't take forever. And knowledge nature is big for druids, so here you go. And it's basically, what do you know about natural things? So if we're walking through the forest, what's that plant? And then my druid will be like, don't eat that. That'll give you diarrhea. So that's knowledge nature. Yeah, so
the druid will be really good at identifying what's that Pokemon with animals and plants.
Yeah, that's the what's that Pokemon skill. And perception is, as I've explained it before. So a lot of people max out perception. Maxing a skill out means every time you level up, you put a point in it. So you put as many points in as possible. So diplomacy and perception, people tend to almost max it out a lot of the times. And in my character backstory, I mentioned that he was an herbalist. So I put profession herbalist, and that might come into use, because it's not just about making my character good at things. I want to put in things that tie into what I wrote for where this person came from. So
it's a mix of mid-maxing and also just trying to fill in what your character would actually do, so that if you're a sailor, you don't come up like a complete dipshit if you fall in the water and you don't know how to swim.
What do you mean by mid-maxing? What does that term mean?
Oh, I'm glad you asked, Ariel. Min-maxing means power gaming, or putting all the points into what you think is the most powerful or optimal strategy, instead of making sense out of your character, backstory, and background.
I mean, what? I don't do that.
But you guys might know, by the way, you guys might notice that Irene is putting ranks into some classes that she is naturally good at. If you look at her class modifiers, what am I saying?
Her ability
scores. Her ability scores.
Her wisdom is high. So perception, if you see to the right, is affected by wisdom, which is already high. So it's she wants to already kind of power that up, so to beef it up as high as it can be.
Yeah, so that 7 on the left-ish column is the total. Everything, basically, that column that's kind of outlined is the total, and everything to the right of that is things that add up to it. And it includes your ability modifier that pertains to that ability.
Yep, and the sheet does the math for you. So you fill everything out, and after this session, basically all you have to pay attention to is this. Every time you roll, look at the number in this column.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. And last one I put a skill rank in is survival, because I've mentioned my character travels in the wild a lot and deals with plants, so he should know a lot about plants. And please ignore the +5. I went ahead and took a trait, so that's an extra. You can take extra little traits that give your characters bonuses to certain skills. Ignore that for now, please.
Ahead of everybody.
Yeah, I went way ahead, so there you go. That's what I did.
All right,
Ariel, why don't you show everyone what you did?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Okay. So I haven't plugged in anything yet, unlike Irene. So I'll show you as I do it. My character has 2 skill ranks per level, because that's what I get as a cleric of average intelligence. So I've already decided which ones I want. I'm first of all going to take sense motive, because I think that my girl is going to be probably better at judging people's character, especially having come from like a background of brewing, and she probably has been around bars a lot, handling drunks and stuff. I don't know that she's particularly good at like speaking with them, but I like to think of her as somebody who is
reads
good
the room.
Yeah, reads the room well. So I'm going to put 1 rank into the rank column. That's where it says ranks here. So go back down to sense motive, and I'm going to put 1 rank there. And that increases my total to 7. And the other one I want, what? Are you going to say something?
Go ahead.
The other one I want is, I'm going to say profession brewer, because I want to be able to make booze.
And
Yes!
Kind of completely
We get to be stupid and drunk!
which again, a dwarf that also follows the god of drunks and adventurers.
Yes.
So very fitting.
So I don't know how much this is going to help us, but I want to be able to do it really badly. And I've already got 1 other ability with a rank in it that will help us probably. Oh yeah, so by the way, so I'm going to put 1 rank in here.
We'll look into class skills. And
No, that's not what I'm talking about. So profession brewer, I think that'll maybe help me to be like a bartender or something, and maybe craft like
it won't help you
alcohol and
make
stuff.
it.
It won't?
Here's the oh, there you go. That's a good one. Because this one's a little bit confusing sometimes in Pathfinder. There's 2 skills. One is called craft, that you guys see. You have a lot of them.
Yeah.
And then there's like a space for you guys to edit it. And then there's also profession. A craft is actually how good you are at making something. It'll enable you to actually be able and spend time and create like items, clothing, dildos, whatever. But profession means how efficient you are at actually doing a job. It can become, it can sometimes be a bit of a murky spot, but more often than not, profession is about how much you know about the job, and craft is how good you can make something.
Cool. That's fine. I can magically create alcohol.
It's good. Just like I'm just explaining because we also have newbies.
That's right. Yeah. So this is mostly self-indulgent. I want profession brewer, and also I did want to clarify something about sense motive. This is typically the skill check you'll use when you're trying to tell if somebody's lying, which happens a lot. So I'll hopefully be able to be there for us to be able to no, this guy's up to no good and all that stuff. So that's my plan. So those are my 2 skill ranks.
2, count them 2. Yeah, I have a character that has -6 sense motive. It's hilarious. Okay, moving on.
No, Vinnie, Chris, having kind of maybe looked at how you guys like maybe had ones that maybe draw your attention or feel that fit your characters that are kind of grayed out and you haven't checked out.
I actually had a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Chris.
So what is kind of the difference between, say, the handle animal and the wild empathy?
Oh, the thing is just that handle animals is it's an all-purpose skill for anybody that can use it to know how to like if an animal is kind of going, kind of wild and stuff, like how to kind of just like touch it or kind of lead it with a rein, give it food, so that you can know how to like communicate or just kind of manage it, Wild empathy is not a skill. It's a special ability that we will kind of deal with that comes with your class, that as a druid, because you are a weird forest tree hugger guy, you can go beyond handling them and knowing how to kind of like pat them and stuff, and you can kind of actually communicate basic thoughts and ideas to an animal just because you're so in tune with nature.
So can I use wild empathy to tame things?
You can, But wild empathy, unlike handle, because with handle animals, it's like if you're kind of like trying to grab a horse and like, I don't know, it's disobeying and just knowing like how to grab the rein properly and just kind of berate it and kind of teach it who's boss or something. Wild empathy, you're taking the time to just kind of like sit there and be like, I'm communing with nature. Oh, horse, understand my thoughts and feelings. And so it's a weird, time-consuming thing. Both kind of get to the same endpoint. One is a lot more effective at kind of communicating something, but it also is a lot more time-intensive. It'll probably take you like a full minute to do that, which is very time-intensive when most of the time actions are counted in seconds in the game. So, yeah.
Did you explain that wild empathy is not a class skill?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, like wild empathy can be useful in its own way, although we have had instances where somebody's like, I want to calm down this monster.
And
I don't want to fight this monster.
And they don't realize that it's not an instant thing. They have to work at it for a period of time.
It takes 10 minutes.
Yeah.
10 minutes?
10 minutes. Ooh, I thought it was one.
Yep.
Ooh.
Yep.
Wow.
Nope, 10 minutes.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a very time-intensive thing to do.
Okay.
So yeah, guys, any skills that you guys are kind of like maybe considering that you'd like to try and get or leaning towards or questions?
We can help feed you suggestions if you don't know.
Yeah, that's it.
Perhaps diplomacy.
That's
it's excellent.
That's a very good choice for your character since you're so limited in skill ranks and your guy is such a dum-dum. Your charisma is really high, and being able to just be a party face for your little mushroom guy is probably a really good idea.
Oh, I want to bring up something that Alex had mentioned a while back. He said you can also use skill checks untrained. This is something you don't really have to pay too much attention to, but it's basically like if it's something that's very easy for your character to know. I think, like, for example, Chris, what are the names of the other like nobles in the Mushroom Kingdom? Like that might be something that's easy enough for you to like check or something or know without having to have knowledge nobility trained.
Yeah. Some things are so basic that you might be able to guess them even if you don't have abilities unlocked, but it's a rare occasion where you find something so bleeding obvious.
Yeah, so don't worry about it.
So all this, but anyway, forget about it.
I just don't want you to worry that you can't like ever know anything about nobility ever or something like that, you know, or nothing about nature or whatever.
Right, and I'm assuming that Chris, you said that you like that one, but your character does not get it as a class skill, like one of the crossed out, right? Cool. All right. So we can fix that. And we can get that for you, and we'll do that on the next step. You have that one skill ranked. If you like charisma, diplomacy, might as well put that skill rank on there. That will make it easy for your level progression and stuff.
Yeah, we'll come back around to make it so that you have it trained.
How about you, Vinny? How are you good? How are you doing with looking at these skills and stuff?
Yeah, diplomacy sounds like it would be good as well.
Okay.
Run, Gil.
Okay, and you're lacking that one, right?
Yeah, so what do you do? Like from the +3 that I have with the skill ranks, you put one of them there?
You can. I just wanted to make sure, like that's the only one that you really feel like you're just lacking, but that you're good at, right? Are there any other specifically the ones that are grayed out with the asterisk? Because remember, like those are the ones that you're kind of blocked out of if you don't have them checked out. Is diplomacy the only one that you're interested in? Are you good with everything else that is kind of crossed out for your guy?
Well, like I said, I don't know what to expect in the game because I've never played it before. So.
No, I get that. It's more of like a gut feeling, kind of general look. Remember, nobody's expecting you to be an expert and know everything. It's just kind of like, browsing through it. Is that the only one that kind of like catches your eyes? Like, oh, I really want that one.
Yeah, I guess. Because because he doesn't have a profession. That's those have asterisks on them as well. But if he's a barbarian, does he need it? I don't know. I don't know how this works.
It's okay, Vinny. It's just when you think about just like what you would like to be able and like show know-how. Like, you know what? You know what's one to consider? For example, you said with your whole backstory, talking about like those frogmen. Mm-hmm. That if you want, for example, Algie to be kind of know his way around with people ask him about the frogmen, there's a skill there that you can use to actually like, this is a curious fact about frogmen and their evils. That kind of stuff. So it's like, it's those kind of things that if you really want to make your character like not come off like, man, I was a sailor, fell in the water, can't swim. I'm totally a sailor, guys.
If you want to be scary, which is pretty good for a half-orc barbarian.
Oh, that's right. There's also that.
Intimidate is a really popular one for barbarians.
Yeah, which they already have.
Well, yeah, I already have that one. Yeah, that one's checked off.
Oh, okay. I didn't know what we're talking about.
The ones that you
Okay, the ones you don't have.
Yeah, because I took my 3 points. I put it on Intimidate, Perception, and Survival.
Nice. Yeah, those are good ones for your character.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Okay. Well, all right. Well, it sounds like okay. So, all right. So you guys have already allocated those points. Well, what I was referring to, Vinny, when I talked to you guys, like, oh, is there any that you guys like want to like?
The ones that aren't, the ones that I don't have, the ones that I didn't put in excellent.
Yes, but the purpose for which I say that is if you guys want to actually be investing points into there. Because you already put your 3 points, we can do more a little bit, but that's why I asked you to check it. Like, is there anything that you find more important than like maybe other ones that you like to put in there, but you feel like, oh, I'm blocked, or I'm not good at them, but I want to be good at them enough to actually put a point into.
Yeah, like Chris wants to put a rank into diplomacy, but he's not trained in it. So we're thinking like, there's a way to get it, but that's what Nick is talking about right now.
Right. Well, mine's not great out for diplomacy. It's just not marked off. I have a +2 on that anyway, with those main stats.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, everyone, all classes can roll diplomacy.
Okay. Yeah, okay. All right.
Okay, all right, cool. All right, Vinny. That makes it easy. Okay, so that since the idea is that these things that will can help us unlock these kinds of abilities, it will be like a bit of a choosing process. That's the thing that Irene was just like, oh yeah, don't worry about it. I just went out like 5 steps ahead and just filling all these out. That's the thing that I've been trying to slowly build you guys out.
When are we gonna get to race stuff? I feel like that's like fundamentals.
Yeah.
Okay. How about let's do the skill ranks and then let's go through race. I think that's gonna be enough for the stream.
She wants a race war already.
Yeah, that's what we're doing here. The mushroom men and the half-orcs, we're gonna have a war. It's gonna be. I'm gonna be just sitting there smoking pot, being like, "What the fuck's going on?"
Total annihilation.
Okay, keep it going.
All right. So last thing, we're pretty much done here. We'll help you out later, Chris, on the diplomacy thing to unlock it. But I just wanted to have you guys see, whenever you guys have put a rank, for example, Chris, if you put that one rank and you put it in diplomacy, since it is not a class skill, which is not the crossed out thing, you see that your bonus is just like your charisma plus the 1 rank, right? That's the total that it shows in there. But Vinny, since you put some ranks into your class skills, you'll see that your bonus actually is higher than the basic math. The thing that happens is that this is why it's good to have class skills that are not necessarily great. You just kind of want to be better at them. When the moment that you start putting ranks into them, they already get boosted. And so the first time you put it, you'll get a +3 on that. So your skill is just stronger.
Yeah,
from the get-go.
That's been automated for you.
Yeah. So you'll see that's if you look at it, that's why the math is bigger for you, Vinny. Okay. All right. So we got those. We got the list for you guys. And like Irene said, let's just go over to the race. Let's go back onto the main webpage. Look onto the right side of the screen, and you go onto races. For Vinny, go on to just core races. You'll find there the half-orc. Ariel, same thing with dwarves, and Irene with humans. For you, Chris, since you're using a custom race, you just pull out the file that we have been working on with all those things.
You'll have to put that online somewhere.
Oh
yeah, this one. Yeah. Yes.
I forgot to put the extra skill rank like humans in for my guy.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, that's why we're getting to race stuff. That's why I wanted to get there. It's very important.
Okay. Also, okay.
You're
I'm
so
getting
hyper,
yelled at.
right? Okay. Chris, you have
Okay.
Chris, you have since yours is kind of like just gets down to the nitty gritty. You're kind of just looking at all the abilities. Vinny, for you, you go onto the half work page and just keep scrolling down on it until you get to the part where in bold letters it says standard racial traits. These are the abilities that you get for having chosen a half orc.
Oh,
The first one for every race will be the one that you guys have already applied during the beginning, which is how your ability scores are modified. For half orcs, that you get that +2 anywhere you want, that kind of stuff. And then you'll start plugging in all the other things. Vinny, you might want to give a quick look over your standard racial traits. See if all of the ones that it tells you, like from ability score modifier down to orc blood, if all of those you like, or if there's one that you're like, you know what, this doesn't sound like algae, I kind of would rather trade that one out, because you can do that. So check those out, see if there's something that you don't like. We'll start going from there. I just want to kind of help out Chris here a little bit, because since his is custom, there's one that's a little bit specific on how to read it. Chris, for you on these qualities for your race, the one that it doesn't change, and it's important for you to know how to read that, is languages. If you go over to that one, your character, it's kind of written a little bit weird, but it's like your character starts knowing one language. That's the first one that is on that list. Everything that is after the plus sign, you only get it if you're smart enough.
can one of you guys share the file of that race?
Yeah, why don't you guys share either Chris your screen or the race for race
I guess
a
Chris.
weird.
Sorry to bug you, Chris. Could you do it, since again my computer is dying? I
Yeah,
can't
just
do
send it to me so I can share it.
Before I do anything, for a lot of very standard races, there's a couple of tables at the top that allow you to roll for your starting age and height and weight, and I want to roll it, so that's what I'm going to be doing first.
Okay.
Here you go.
Yay.
Yeah, right here. I mean, you don't have to do the race stuff first. You can either do the class or the race first, and just as long as the math adds up in the end. I haven't rolled my height or weight. I just
So yeah, those are little things that they can be fun to kind of get those little details. Just wanted to let you know on that one, Chris. Your character just starts out knowing that first language before the plus. Vinny,
there you go. Oh yes.
So Vinny, Chris, when looking at those, like I told you, those are like standard race. Those are the things that you guys just get like vanilla. That's the standard ones. And so you can look through those quickly and just kind of see if something just kind of jumps out to you that you just don't like and you would rather just kind of trade out. And underneath, we can trade those out, or we can keep those ones and just kind of plug those in. From just kind of looking at your guys' race, let me know, do you guys find anything that you'd like to trade out, or you're kind of glad, you're kind of happy with what you get here from the half orc and the mushroom leshing?
This is the standard traits?
Yes, standard racial traits is the ones that you just get by default, but you can trade them out if there's some that you just don't like. For you, Chris, I know that you were kind of liking.
I do want mushroom
royalty one, right?
Yeah, I do want the mushroom royalty.
Which, if I'm correct, that one actually says that it turns diplomacy into a class skill, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Then there we go. That problem solves your diplomacy thing right out the get go. So the idea is that, again, all this is the base stuff. You guys get all of this stuff, but if there's things that you would kind of like to swap out, underneath those is this thing called alternate racial traits. As it says, they're alternate. variants, and if you guys kind of like the flavor or kind of like a cool ability, like for example, half-orcs can get like a bite attack. Like they can get a really big tusks and be able to actually attack with their mouths. So that's an alternate one. These abilities kind of tell you like, oh, it does this, and at the end it says this replaces this from the standard racial traits. So if you guys see something that you'd like to just change out there, that's how it can be done, and it tells you specifically which ones you have to pay in exchange to get those alternate ones.
Okay, so I got a question.
Yep.
This hydrated vitality, what is fast healing? Like, how is it exactly?
Fast healing, I think, is like the more common term to refer to is like regeneration. It just means that your character can kind of like magically heal for a limited amount of time, as long as it submerges itself in water.
So many abilities. Yeah, I'm looking through the alternate racial traits for humans too, and it's a long list.
Yeah,
I was just gonna go vanilla human, but oh.
Who invented
That's
this
not.
game?
Vinnie's like, fuck this! So much math!
No, it's not that. There's just so much information all over the place.
Well, it started with Gary Gygax, then
Damn you,
about
Gygax.
5 million people pitched in, and now it's a giant hive mind of insanity.
Yeah, like that really, like, honestly, before we came onto the stream, I was actually listening to 3 videos that are pretty much a long-winded answer to that single question.
Yep.
So with this, if I were to take psychedelic toxin, then that means I couldn't take hydrated vitality, right?
Yeah, they can't overlap. You have to. Yeah. You can only pay certain traits. So yeah. So like.
Okay, so then that means I can't take hydrated vitality anyway because I have mushroom royalty. I got.
Yeah, there you go. So it's like if you want one that contradicts the other, you can't pay A 2 times.
Okay,
you know.
So then I want mushroom royalty and psychedelic toxin.
Alrighty. All right. So Chris, the deal with that one is that you now know which are the abilities that you get, and you can just kind of copy paste them over in your character sheet. There'll be some math and stuff involved in like actually kind of figuring it out how it affects the character sheet, but right now it's just like get those notes down so you know what you actually chose. And let's see, scrolling down, I'm also getting used to this new sheet that Ariel made. There we go. Yeah, you scroll down on the character sheet and you plug in the final traits that you like from your race, each one on the traits list. And you can copy paste just the effects and all that.
Okay, so I copy paste like plant +10, the small size, the slow speed, all that stuff.
Yeah, you can plug them in one by one, and on your own time you can summarize them or edit them to the way that you can understand them and see them quickly and all that. And we'll figure that out later.
Okay.
By the way, that I really wanted to get to this point specifically because of size. Here's something that Chris you'll have to pay attention to. Irene and Vinnie and I are all playing races who are either human or very close to the size of a human. And in this game, there are size categories, and depending on your size category, you get different benefits or detriments.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You are the exception in this group. You are a small person, so I want to make sure
you have the mentality and the size of a toddler.
Yay!
So if you look at on your sheet here, it says small size, and it'll explain to you all of the things that happens when you're a small creature. I have all these things included in the calculations of my character sheet, so you can write that stuff down if you want, or just keep it in mind.
It's just to help you keep track of it. Well, the math will be either figured out, or we can help you plug it actually in. But it's useful for you to understand where it comes from, so that you don't get lost later on.
That's true.
That's all.
I want everybody on their character sheet. There is a highlighted section toward the top of the character sheet. Where it says size. Everybody except Chris should put M or medium or something like that because we're all medium. Irene has M written. That is something that the formula acknowledges, and it'll calculate your stuff for you. So it's an important thing. So put M in there or whatever if you're a medium-sized creature, which all the three of us are. For Chris, you are of a small size category.
So
S or small should work just fine.
So, Vinnie, how are you doing with that stuff? Are there traits that you'd like to swap out? Do you have any questions regarding the ones that are there? What's up, bud?
Well, the ones that are already there, you want me to just copy them and put them in there?
If you want them like to stick. That's the thing. Like, I wanted you to just kind of keep it, kind of give it a cursory glance and see, like, everything seems good, or do you want to just swap something out before putting it on your sheet?
Well, if it seems good, I mean, like, because I can just go with the standard traits, but what is it, like orc ferocity? Like, do I have to copy paste it in there?
Yeah,
you can. Yeah,
yeah.
That could be a simple way of doing it.
Yeah. It's just that if you're good with all these, pretty much that's all you have to do. You just have to copy paste them and just put them on your sheet. On the big area that just says traits, like going down on your character sheet.
So I should just grab all the ones that are in standard?
Yes, all the ones that are in standard. In that case, guys, since Vinnie, since you like all the standard ones, and that's cool, and Chris, you already picked the ones that you wanted to swap out, and you swapped out for those. Let me just do the one little thing that actually requires a little bit of kind of help along the way, which is the because you guys are, both of your characters are dumb, so you guys are all good on that. Forgot about that.
Yay! Never mind, you're too stupid to know.
I was gonna talk about languages, but I was like, so Vinnie, I already went through this with Chris. So for the languages thing, you just have to put like languages, what is, not quotation marks, what do you call the symbol?
A colon?
Yeah, thank you. Languages, colon, and then your character, the languages that it knows is Common and Orc. Common is kind of like the average language for that just humans speak and most everybody speaks, and you also speak Orc. That's pretty much the deal with it. And for Chris, you only know your one language for now. So you'll your character will have to make that choice on that rank. You will either go through the troubles of the fact that your character essentially does not know how to communicate effectively with anybody except other little mushroom people, or you can put the effort into learning Common, which requires one skill rank to do so. Yeah. So just so you guys know about that stuff, I guess. Everything else is just copy pasting, and I think that's pretty much what we be going just for today.
Pretty much. So I think this is pretty good ground we've covered today. We've covered like the skills, basic ability scores, and also racial and class pages. I think I'm going to just walk through what all the other things on the character sheet are, and what we're going to do is we're going to finish filling this out off stream because it's going to take forever. But the rest of this I'll just explain. See over here. And you guys feel free to jump in, Nick and AC, if you have if you want to pitch in. So this is like the armor class, which is your defense against when someone tries to hit you. These are the numbers that you have to look at to see if they exceed these numbers, right? So yeah,
it's a number that people are aiming at to hit.
Yes,
you.
It's a static number. You can add like
armor,
different bonuses to it, like
armor, dodginess, magic, stuff like that. It can increase and decrease.
Yeah, but it's basically, the point of it is that it's a static number, and when people try to attack you, they have to roll a die, and it's going to be what we call a d20, which is a 20-sided die. Mm-hmm. And you'll want to roll one of these, and you add bonuses to it, and the whole point of the game, really, when you're attacking people, is you want to try and roll higher than their AC.
Right.
So that's how you hit people.
Right. If Vinny's orc, half orc wants to hit me, it'll be like roll it'll be this, the weapon part down here. So it'll be whatever weapon, big club plus the D20 roll plus his strength modifier, which is probably really high, and it'll probably add up to be above 13. And since my AC is 13, that means Vinny's character hits me and knocks my character out. So that's how it works. All right, and then down here, these are the saving throws. You have Fortitude, which is tied to Constitution, Reflex, which is tied to Dex, and Will, which is tied to Wisdom. That's a little hard to explain. It's basically how do you explain that?
It's the way that you these are like your shields for the different kinds of attacks. So like we already dealt with AC, which is just like the very literal club against my brain. With this one's Fortitude saves are saves that your body does to defend against things trying to affect it negatively, aside from just like blunt damage or something like that. For example, a poison. This is just your save, like your defense to fight against the poison hitting you. A reflex save is just, again, reflex. So it's like, I don't know, a swinging blade comes at you, your character can do a reflex and try and dodge it or partially dodge it and only lose a leg instead of the head or something. And then it will save the defenses of your mind. Someone trying to like maybe magically take control. Will save can try and mitigate such a danger.
Also against fear, because fear effects play into this game. So if, for example, Vinny's character is intimidating, so he could actually try to intimidate an opponent, and they have to roll a will save to save against, like, am I scared of this character? And if they fail, then you actually take detriments for like a number of rounds. So will save plays into that. And combat maneuvers it's just like if someone wants to grab you or trip you. There you go.
If you're not hacking away at people with a sword or shooting them with an arrow, you want to do something creative like grapple them.
Yeah, because in
trick them, use some pocket sand on their face.
Oh yeah, we're all talking to each other. I'm so excited. Okay, so like mechanically, you don't have to it's more than just use my weapon, hit someone. You can be creative, and there are mechanical ways to do almost anything you can think of. So like Nick said, throw sand into their face. There's actually, you can use mechanical like abilities to like pants people or like pull their shirt off or like give them wedgies. Literally, you can do this in the game. So that would be like CMB and CMD, your attack bonus and defense for combat maneuvers other than just like stab with a sword. And here are your weapons. So we'll be filling this out. We'll be picking which weapons everybody has and doing the calculations for the bonuses. So that's what this section is. And AC items, money, this is the carrying capacity, how much your character can carry. Encumbrance, which will be fun, but that's just like if you, we're kind of like anal about it, but we're like, okay, so your gear has weight, and there's charts on the D20 website for like how much all the gear will weigh. So we'll go through and pick out, okay, this is how much money you have. These are the items on the items list on the website. What do you want to buy for your character? Do you want some rations? Do you want to give them a bedroll? Do you want to give them, I don't know, a pet cat? And all these things have weights, and you plug it into this gear chart down here, and then we have to calculate the weight. And if your stuff weighs too much, you will have to walk slower. So
or just be completely immobile. For example, a twiggy character like poor Acadia, trying to carry, I don't know, a full piano on its back. He will probably just be immobilized until somebody helps him or he decides to give up on such an endeavor.
Right, exactly. So we will be gearing up our characters and calculating.
And I think everything else on the character sheets, aside from those, which are the mechanical, reactionary, or defensive numbers, everything else is just plugging in individual abilities, traits, or what are called feats, which work a little bit differently from D&D, which are the nitty-gritty of how versatile abilities and number crunching will work for the specific character, class, and race. And feats specifically for Pathfinder is the main building block of a character's progression. So like if you guys play Final Fantasy, if you play other video games like that, sometimes a common term is a skill tree, which is just sometimes you'll choose from a myriad of abilities, get those, you like them, that's what you guys are good at, and you can just get a bunch of abilities as you go through on higher levels to just kind of fill out things that you want your characters to be good at or just have at your disposal. But some people will also go like, oh, I get this skill that hits hard, and it's a kind of like a prerequisite to get this other ability that makes me be able to hit 2 guys with 1 swing, and then I'll keep building on all these other abilities that need each other for higher power stuff. So it's a big building block. It can be very intensive, or it can be very lax, depending on how deep into it you want to get.
I also got like a tab at the bottom of the Google Sheets thing that's called Special, which is also something we'll get into later, which I think...
Oh, I didn't even see that.
Yeah, it's something that we'll have to deal with later. It's mostly like for spellcasters.
Yeah, I didn't even see that, but we will deal with that later. Because if you're casting spells, you have to build another spell sheet. But that, I think we'll do that off stream and then just show everyone, so people don't, because that really takes a lot of like grinding. But yeah, so here the traits are. This is the human traits because my character is a human, so I filled these in, and you actually get to pick a couple of extra ones on the trait list on the website. So these are the ones I picked for my character.
Oh, okay, we're doing that too right now, huh?
We're not.
I mean, okay, I'm sorry, I went ahead. So you guys all get to do it, and for feats, basically in Pathfinder, it's every odd level. I don't know if you mentioned that. So every odd level you get, for most characters, you get to pick like an extra feat and build on special abilities. So there you go. And yeah, I know this is pretty complicated. This is a lot, but trust me, once you get used to it, like. Once you build like about 2 or 3 characters, it all comes naturally. When you're playing, it doesn't feel like just math all the time because it'll just be interactive storytelling. Nick will be like, you are in this room and there's mist everywhere and you see a shadowy figure over there, like coming through the mist. What do you do? And you're not thinking about the math. You're thinking of, oh my God, what am I going to get killed by this figure? So yeah, it's just a lot of prep work. I've learned to love the character creation process, but I understand it can be a bit.
It's pretty daunting starting out. Like you guys have heard Vinnie's reactions.
It is daunting, and I've seen people in the chat like, oh my God, you guys are crazy. But I'm surprised that we've had like 18, 20 people watching at a time. I'm really glad you guys still joined us through all this. Thank you so much. And next time we're going to, like I said, finish filling out these characters in the back end. And next stream, I'm not sure when it'll be. We're all really busy, so it'll be early September. I think that'll be good because we got deadlines. And then we're
testing like in a couple of weeks, I think.
Yeah, but so after
but we'll see.
We'll see.
I want to do it every other week, but specifically because I need to start fulfilling books. Nick has work to do. We both have like end of August deadlines. So this time we're going to, the next next video in this series will be early September. So I will announce that it'll probably be the first weekend of September is what I'm thinking. Okay. So, and I'll keep to that as much as I can. And next time what we're going to do is all these characters we built today will actually play a module. So it'll be goofy voices and role playing, and we'll have the gaming board, like a digital gaming board, so you can see our little characters moving around like a terrain and everything. So that's what'll be happening next time. We will be drinking.
You guys to drink with me. It'll be great.
Yeah, it'll be great. It'll be great. I will be drinking a lot. I mean, we're all playing idiots, so I invite everybody to come and drink with us. Yeah. And
also, aside from again all the people actually joining in, which was great to have all the company. Chris, Vinnie, thanks for joining us also on this. I know it can be, again, very daunting. It's a lot of micromanaging work, but we're hoping that it'll pay off and that you guys will end up enjoying it on the actual game.
Well, yeah.
Hell yeah!
Sure
I just wanted to.
You'll walk us through it, and we'll have fun.
Yeah, it will. It's not the whole game is math like this, but you learn to love the math. That's the nerdiest fucking thing to say. Someone, just a couple more questions. What math software do we use? We will be using Roll20. So, Wise Guys, hail! Thank you for joining us. We're kind of wrapping up, but you are welcome to watch a replay.
Absolutely.
Chronic Beard, hell yeah. No, I will not be drinking Guinness, but
I'll have a finished character by then, a finished character drawing. I think everybody got like finished drawings and stuff. I don't have one, so I'll come up with a finished drawing.
I know we got a little competitive, probably a little bit. So, all right, I'm gonna post the link for this character sheet that AC made once more in the chat, and I'll also put it in the description if anyone, because I actually saw some people say they really like the system now that we walk them through it, and they're gonna convert their characters to it. So
Cool.
here's that sheet. AC built it. It does most of the math for you. So she's actually making it much more simpler than it originally is. So I think that kind of wraps things up for today. Thank you, Vinnie and Chris, for joining us. You guys are all freaking awesome. And tune in next Wednesday for my Wednesday night show. I'm going to be having my friend who worked as a manga assistant on. That's going to be a ton of fun. And
Nice.
I think it's going to be a riot. We're going to be talking about some very interesting subjects. I know he's got some opinions. It's like, oh, Dad, I don't know if you, I don't want to be too angry about things. Do you want me to talk about censorship? I'm like, no, release the anger. It's cool. Tell us how you really feel. So it's going to be a riot. So next Wednesday at, we're going to start a little later. So like 8:30, let's do 9. Next Wednesday at 9. I'll see you guys then. And
Cool.
thank you
And
for joining.
Don't forget tonight over on my channel at 8 p.m.
That's right.
Rini should be there. Nick, AC, if you guys want to come too. I think I have one more slot open, but we're gonna have on Final Death Star. He's got a website or a YouTube. Enter the Unfamiliar. Because after that, it's gonna be a shorter stream tonight because we're gonna go over to his channel afterwards. Or at least I am. But we're gonna talk about that documentary, Cosmic Hoax. So
Cool.
That's gonna be cool.
All right then.
Cool.
Well, have a good day, everybody.
Have a great one.
Bye, everybody.
See ya.